morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, Taryn. Good morning, Callie. Good morning, Craft. Good morning, good morning. You finally subbed on Twitch? Hey, that was in the chat for you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning. I hope everyone is having a wonderful morning. I hope everyone is doing amazing. Amazing. Got a lot to talk about this morning, guys. Not gonna hold you. Some I would say that it's interesting, but it's not interesting, it's concerning. Like let's be honest, it's some crazy shit happening. It's some crazy shit happening, but we're going to get into everything, and we're going to get into some debates. We're going to get going here in just a moment, but you guys know how we do. As you come in, please, please, please tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me. It's only one coin. It will boost the live, push us out to the FYP. If you could knock out the daily gift goal, it's the little 1 cent gift goal. If we can knock those out a couple of times, that will boost the live as well. Let's see here. I think we are good to go everywhere. So let's get after it.
You stepped in a box. Now you're in the ring. Ain't no hugs here. You better take your best swing. Mike Hot, who wanna step in the flame? This ain't a debate, this a mind game. Facts type lies, get left in chain. One wrong word, he slapped out your name. This ain't TikTok T, this a war zone talk. No script, no filter, no safe walk. Bring stats who get scrambled like a glitch. I got fire in my mouth like I came from the pit. Yeah, step in if you dare. Truth hit hard like a punch in the air. Ain't no rules, no plan, no script. One wrong move, get cooked real quick. No cap, no shield. Better know your stuff or you get revealed. Step in, don't you wanna? Sparring with Santana. I don't care what you claim or your background. Facts only, if not, get clapped down. Whether you're left or right or you don't even vote. If your logic is weak, I'll sink your boat.
Hey.
Talk slick, but you ain't got source.
Nope.
Just vibes, that ain't power, that's force.
I'm the
trap, the trip, the call.
Hey.
Slip once, I'm snatching it all.
Boom.
Step in if you dare. Hit hard like a punch in the air.
Punch in the air.
Ain't no rules, no plan, no script. One wrong move, get cooked real quick. No cap, no shield. Better know your stuff or you get revealed. Step in, don't you wanna? Sparring with Santana. Step in if you dare. Hit hard like a punch in the air. Ain't no rules, no plan, no script. One wrong move, get cooked real quick. No cap, no shield. Better know your stuff or you get revealed. Step in, don't you wanna? Sparring with Santana. Yeah. This ain't a safe place.
It is not.
This is flame space.
It absolutely is.
Sparring with Santana.
Guys, welcome in. This is Sparring with Santana. One-on-one debates with Trump supporters or anyone that disagrees with anything on the background. I am Santana. Guys, only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We are only looking for some debates. If you are a friendly, tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me. It's only one coin and we'll boost the live and push us out to the FYP. Also, guys, can we knock out the daily gift goal? It's the love you very much. Can we knock that out, please? If we can knock out the daily gift goal a couple of times, it will help boost the live and push us out to the FYP so we can get more people in here to debate. So let's do this. Let's start here. Okay. Let's start here. Hi, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with something on the background?
Rate my picture 1 through 10.
You said what?
Rate my picture 1 through 10.
Okay. Did you want to debate or did you just want to be weird?
Sorry, I'll leave.
Okay. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We are only looking for some debates. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. Yeah, I don't find funny. Like you guys aren't funny. And I'm not even trying to be an asshole. You're just not funny. Hi, are you a Trump supporter or disagree? And what does this actually do?
Please, I want to be fucked so hard.
I hear you, but like, no, hey, serious question. What does this actually do?
Fuck me.
So you guys just want to be weird. Yes. This does nothing but show how weird you are. It's okay. It's okay. You're not funny. It's not clever. It's fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and block you.
I'm getting fucked.
It's so, you guys are so fucking weird for no reason. Like, you're not funny. You're not clever. You're just fucking weird. Like, it's really sad that you guys live the fucking lives that you do. It's so interesting. I'm dead ass serious when I say this. One, you're not funny. Two, you're not original because you do the same weird shit on every single live. And three, you do it for attention, but you do it for attention behind these random ass troll accounts. You guys are just so weird. Like, I'm sorry, but I would hate to live the lives you live. And I'm just being serious. I would actually hate to live the lives that you live, that this is like the highlight of your day. It's wild. Oh my God. Anyway, only request up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. Gladstone, you're in the request. You're getting blocked. I'm sorry. I forgot my rule. That's on me. You know what? That's on me. If you are in the request and you have one follower and you're following two people or some weird shit like that, I'm blocking your account. Come back on your main account. I'm not doing this. Like, seriously, we're not doing the weird shit. Only request up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only. Abigail, why do you keep requesting up? And for some reason you request up and then you immediately like drop. I don't know what's happening, but stop. Only request up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. Fuck my ass. I swear, like, and you do know, so got the profile. What you just did was actual sexual exploitation. I'm literally going to submit your information to TikTok and to the FBI. You do understand that you're going to end up on a sex registry list. Like, it's super wild that you guys would do this when your IP address can be tracked. You guys don't know how shit works. This is insane. Your IP address is being tracked by TikTok. What are we doing? Like, what? You guys don't understand how shit works. Don't worry. You're going to find out today. You are going to find out today. Let me make sure I grab your information. Got it here. Let's see. Boom. Boom. There we go. All right. Guys, if you don't mind, keep tapping the screen, share the live, send your daily heart meet, knock out the daily gift goal. It's only one coin. It will boost the live and push us out to the FYP. And dead ass serious. Like, if you come up here doing the weird shit like the last guy did, I am going to submit your profile and your information to TikTok. Your IP address is exposed, which is connected to any device that you are connected to in your home. i.e., if you try to somehow delete your actual account, your IP address doesn't go away. You guys don't know shit. It's so interesting. Holy fuck, you guys don't know things. Oh my gosh, you don't know things. Are you a Trump supporter or disagree with something in the background?
Yes, I am a Trump supporter.
Okay. And what state do you live in?
I live in New York.
Is this Bretta?
I literally, my profile says Bretta.
You know what? Like, I haven't seen this profile, and so I thought it might have just been someone else with the same kind of. All right. Okay. Bretta, what'd you come up to talk about?
Why are they throwing this on me, Santana, this recent Supreme Court decision, man? Why are you throwing this on me? I'm getting abused everywhere, man.
People like you advocated for it.
I did not advocate for a Supreme Court decision. You can't do that.
What do you think about it?
I don't think it's as big of a deal as they're making it to be.
Oh, it
I don't think they're silencing black voices the way you're saying. I think it strengthens both sides' power in their state to redraw maps as they see fit. Right now, it may seem to advantage the right, but ultimately this could be weaponized against the right in due time.
It can. And so, like, this is why I had that question for you is, do you think this entire gerrymandering back and forth thing is a good thing? Honest question.
I think it could get redundant, depending on how often the state gets flipped. But it's not the,
I think it's bad. And I'm not saying it's bad just because, like, oh, yesterday it was Florida. Like, I had plans on talking about all of this, and like I'm gonna, I guess, kind of give up my hand and speak to what I was going to talk about. But like I think it's bad, and not just for the Democrats or the Republicans. I think it's bad for us, period, because the precedence that's being set is like the entire U.S. is going to be gerrymandered to the point where, like, our votes already don't count when it comes to the Electoral College, and we have a lack of power, but now it's going to be even less. And like this tick for tat, that so many people aren't going to get the proper representation. Like, I think it's a bad thing. I don't like this at all. I don't like it from the standpoint of the Democratic Party. I don't like it from the standpoint of the Republican Party. I think it's just bad for our country.
That's fair. But ultimately, it is constitutional. It's not to deliberately disadvantage any particular group. They voted constitutionally voted, yes. What they decided according to the Constitution, right? I just don't like the narrative that, oh, you Trump supporters brought this on. Mm-hmm. We did not. This would have happened under any administration, right? And we see the last decision
give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Yeah. For the I love everyone that's in the request. I'm blocking you. Go get your main account. I don't give a fuck about a troll account. Like, you're not getting up here with troll accounts. Go get your main account. Sorry, go ahead.
You're good. What I'm saying is that we see the example of the last time that the Voting Rights Act was addressed by the Supreme Court. It was under Obama. Did you guys blame Obama voters for that? For the Section 4 and 5 being gutted? And I asked this question. I asked this question on 2 lives already. Mm-hmm. They all go around this question. I don't blame Obama voters for that. Why am I getting the burden of this Voting Rights Act decision?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who is giving you the quote unquote burden. What I will say is, like I said, I think this is bad overall, right? And the reason why I say this is because you take a look at what's coming next. Did you see the map that Florida actually approved yesterday?
I did not see the map. I read briefly something online, but I didn't see the map, and I didn't go in depth to it. If you want to pull it up.
Give me a second. They approved this actual map for Florida as of yesterday. Now, the thing that I want to call out is, while I disagree with the gerrymandering back and forth, there's been a dramatic difference between what's been going on in the gerrymandering, and like, you have to be intellectually honest and admit, come on, because the multiple gerrymanderings that has occurred with the Democratic Party, all of them they voted on. It's been 2 states, and they voted on those states. There's been 5.
California, Virginia?
Yep, California, Virginia. There's been 5 for Republican-held states in which now Alabama is calling for the same thing, and none of them have voted on it. They've just done it themselves. So while I do disagree with the entire premise of it, the Democratic states are allowing the people to pick, which kind of gives this is something I have a problem with Democrats and moderate Democrats as well, is you see the Republican Party are not playing by the rules, but you guys keep playing by the rules. That shit doesn't make sense to me. Like, if you're the only one playing by the rules, there's no fucking way you win. And so if both of them were like, oh, okay, let the people vote on new maps, then I could get behind it. But the fact that they're just doing this shit, it's not good. So this is the new map that Florida approved as of yesterday.
Yeah. That's pretty one-sided there.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. State governments are voted as a whole of the state. The state can vote blue, and then a new state government can go and redraw this map.
Come on, now you know that's not true.
That we disagree,
brother. Come on, how is Florida supposed to vote blue when this is their actual state map as far as like the districts and voting? Because the people that would lean Democrat or vote blue or whatever, then the way that it's gerrymandered is ensured to make sure they don't have the power to vote the Republican Party out.
You're making it seem as if all voters are automatically going to vote red no matter what. We actually see a flip in many districts because of the people disagreeing with Trump's policy. Districts that were red voting blue, right? So people can decide to vote the state blue, and that state government, you know, voting for state governments is not gerrymandered. It's not by district. It's a whole state vote, pool vote that can change the state government. The state government can then redraw the map as they see fit and necessary for future elections.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to highlight that it is not a pro-Republican decision that the Supreme Court concluded. It was a general according to the Constitution.
It was an anti-people decision, right? I mean, that's what it really was. But brother, so let me get to this, because this is what, like, there's layers to this, right? So while this is Florida's new map, the actual decision that the Supreme Court made yesterday opens up the door to this in the South, which is what people didn't want. This is the potential new map for the South if the redistricting is adapted across the South.
I see it. That's a potential.
Like, how are we good with this?
Do you feel that just because this, how do I put this question? How do I frame this question? Because the maps are drawn this way, that every constituent is automatically going to vote red?
No, I think
that the constituents vote blue and then flip that state according to their needs and what they see fit for their state.
Yeah, like I'm not saying that there's not the potentiality for the elector to vote a different way. I mean, yes, you see that this has happened due to all of the elections that occurred since Donald Trump has been in power. But the thing that I pose, or the point that I make to counter that, is the fact that the reason why they're doing this is because of that. They're doing this because since Donald Trump has taken power, the Republican Party has lost power overwhelmingly, even in areas that they had no idea that they were going to lose power. And so since they see what's on the horizon and the midterm elections are on their way up, they're doing everything they possibly can to silence as many votes as possible in order to ensure that they hold on to power. The Republican Party is projected to lose not only the House, but the Senate, which was the Senate wasn't even in play, but now it's in play completely, which is a crazy thing to think about, right? And so what they're doing is they're going and they're taking all the steps possible to ensure that at the very least, they force people to overwhelmingly vote to the point that you're saying, where they come out and just like flip everything. They've seen how these elections have gone. And so they're trying to work everything possible in their favor. That's why they're not only trying to do things like this with redistricting, but they're also trying to get like the Voting Rights Act passed, which would disenfranchise millions of Americans.
I don't think that this disadvantages constituents from deciding that they're going to vote a different way. As you said, as you highlighted, people that historically districts that historically voted red are now voting blue. They can put red on the map. Blue can have the wave that's necessary to flip the state. I just don't want it to make it seem like it's automatically silencing Black voices. I don't like how that's painted.
Listen, I haven't mentioned the silencing of Black voices because that is a thing. But the reason why I haven't mentioned that is because this is the silencing of all voices, right? And like the reason why I haven't brought up Black people with you, brother, is because you know how it is. I sit up here as a Black man on this app, and all the racist white people come up, and the only thing they want to do is Black people, Black people, Black people, right? And so I'm not having that conversation with you in the moment. I'm having like a different conversation with you, which is all the people, because I know they're going to come up here and saying Black people, Black people, Black people. Like you and I can debate on whether we can't even really debate on that. I'm sorry that the way that it actually falls, right? I mean, the amount of Black people that are in Louisiana that now have Black people are 1/3 of the population of Louisiana, but the map is now drawn in a way that they only get one representative for, you know, the majority of the areas that Black people in. Like, that's ridiculous. But this is this is what I'm talking about. So, okay, brother, I'm telling you, this is the potentiality, and not saying this is what's going to happen for sure, but this is the potential. Now, are you saying that overall you're okay with this?
I'm not gonna say that I'm 100% like okay with it. I do understand the decision and the constitutionality of it. That's what I understand. Now, I can't say I'm 100% for this. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say that just to have the opposition stance to try to win a debate. I can't do it, right? But the extreme that the leftists or the people on the left are taking to say that this is disadvantaging people straight because of their particular group or their ideology is disingenuous. I don't like that.
So what do you call that then? Like, being specific, if Black people and Black people make up 1/3 of the total population of Louisiana, right? But out of all the actual representation, they only get one member of Congress to represent 1/3 of the entire population. How do you square that circle?
I mean, I'm not familiar with. Hold on. I'm not familiar with all the districts in each state for me to speak on how it disadvantages or advantages.
Well, the actual I'll give you the information as of right now, right? There are 6 members of Congress in Louisiana, and there are 2 members of the Senate right? Both of their senators are Republican. Like, that's not going to change, you know, it is what it is, right? The 6th member of Congress, as of right now, District 2 and District 6, District 2 and District 6 are both held by Democrats, right? All the other 4 districts are held by Republicans. But the way that Louisiana is redrawing the map, they're combining places like New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Shreveport, those majority Black areas that make up District 2 and District 6, and redrawing the map and combining it in the way that there's only going to be one representation, one members of Congress representing all of those areas. And then the other 5 areas, they're going to combine the 2, and then the other 4 are going to be split up where they spread it out. And so it'll be one Democratic representative for all of those majority Black areas, and the other 5 will represent the outskirts, which currently make up not the rest of the population that is not Black people.
I get it. Like, if there's 1 or 2 districts, then the right can win those districts by huge margins, and like 80-20, and then those extra votes are a waste.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand that. But what you're assuming is that the 80 are automatically going to vote red because of the redistricting, or because you believe, shout out to my boy Jamming, as you believe like all of one particular group votes one way. So because the Supreme Court says that you can't redraw along racial lines, that you're disadvantaged in that particular group, as you're assuming that particular group is a monolith.
No. That's not what I'm actually saying. What I'm saying is, like, looking at historical trends, the areas that are being weakened are historical areas that would vote Democrat, and the areas that are being strengthened are areas that historically have voted Republican, right? And it just so happens that Black people will tend to vote Democrat, where in Louisiana, white people tend to vote Republican. And so, yes, this is like, again, I bring up the 1/3 of the Louisiana population being Black, but even more than that, they are the entire premise of this is weakening the ability for Democratic representation because of the way the map is drawn, and strengthening those areas within the Republican districts that gives them more power, right? They're concentrating the smaller areas of the Republican Party that get voted out because of the Democrats in the area, and then dividing that and combining it. Like, it's all a delusional game where, like, they're just weakening one party and strengthening the other party the way that they're drawing the maps. Like, that's the big problem. And while that is the big problem, I think we would be remiss if we didn't call out the fact that this is happening in a state where 1/3 of the population is Black, and the Black people within the state overwhelmingly support the Democratic Party.
And this is Louisiana that you're bringing up, or are you talking about Texas?
Louisiana. Texas is a whole nother ballgame, because Texas, which is not a race, but the majority group in Texas are Hispanic people, which of course can be Black or white. But, you know, the actual Hispanic vote historically has trended towards the Democratic Party, but they've gerrymandered it so much so where it's been diluted. But that's a whole different conversation. Now, let me get to this point, because this is the next level that I wanted to get to, brother. Because so while we're talking about what Florida has done, and while we're talking about the potentiality of the rest of the South, there are like end conclusions, right? And the end conclusions is, let's say that everybody plays this gerrymandering game and they take it to the end game, right? They take it to its final conclusion and they push it to its furthest limit, and every state just starts to gerrymander the hell out of everything and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? The issue becomes how this ends up looking across the country for all of our states. I'm sorry, for all American citizens. And this is what it looks like if every state starts to push it to their furthest limit. This is what it looks like, right? And the interesting thing about it looking like this is, one, Democrats hold the majority, right? 228 to 207. But it starts to disenfranchise more Americans, more so than the Electoral College already does. So, yes, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. But more than this, like, how is this democracy? Like, how does anyone on either side of the aisle say this is okay? Because I don't think it's okay. But for some reason, people on your side of the aisle, brother, you guys think it's okay. And like, I just don't fucking get this.
I can see your point of contention. It's you. I can appreciate this conversation. I can see your point of contention. Because you're not doing the fear thing.
Yeah.
But what I would say is that redrawing the map doesn't actually change constituent sentiment shifting. All right, and everybody's vote is still, everybody's vote still matters, because this can shift at any time. Saying is that redrawing the map doesn't actually change constituents. I hate to repeat myself, but I got my point across originally, and I don't want to win.
Do you? We know why. We understand why this is happening, right? Like, brother, can we keep it a beam? Can we keep it a buck and like admit that we know why this is happening?
Why is this happening?
Do you not know? Or are you?
I want to see what your stance is. Like, why did the Supreme Court rule?
Oh, no, I'm not talking about the Supreme Court. I mean, the Supreme Court ruled this way because they're 6-3 conservative, and they're going to do what's best in the best for the Republican Party as a whole. So, like, that's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about the actual reason behind all of this.
What do you say? What's the reason?
Okay, I'll do it. I'm going to walk you through something really quick. So this is the approval rating for presidents after their first year in office, all right? And this is looking at the historical trend. This update didn't have Biden, but that's not the overall point that I'm looking to make. I'm looking to make the actual point as far as, if you take a look, Donald Trump, first year in office and during his first term, he had a 39% approval rating, right? And we can talk about the fact that, you know, Donald Trump actually has done so many different things, right? Like, we could talk about the war, which is absolutely one of the biggest blunders that was caused. But talking about the war would actually be remiss if we didn't talk about like the actual factors of the war. So the first place that we have to start is one of the biggest things that has been impacted, of course, is gas, right? Take a look at the oil prices. Oil prices are skyrocketing. If you take a look at the year-over-year trends, right? The current trend, this is as of the 27th today, 3 days ago. It's gone up since then as well. But 3 days ago, the national average was $4.11. It's actually now hit the highest national average since 2022. And the actual cost per barrel for oil is $120, right? But that's just the first part of it. we can definitely talk about the oil prices, but the oil prices isn't the only thing that's gone up within Trump's first year. All right, the next thing that we can call out is going to definitely be unemployment. All right, take a look at the unemployment. And since Trump has gotten office in January, it was 4.0, and ever since then, it has continued to fluctuate and go up to March was 4.3, right? So we've continuously seen a spike in the unemployment rate. So we got a war that Trump has gotten us into, and the war has caused higher gas prices. The war has caused additional CPI to raise, and then now we're dealing with higher unemployment. And speaking of like CPI, the interesting thing about all that is, if you take a look at the CPI, everything's up, right? All items, food, energy, and all items less food and energy. Overall, CPI increased in March by 0.9%, right? And energy was the biggest driver of that. I say all that to say, what that has led us to is where we are today and the issue that Donald Trump is having, and what I think. Well, no, that's not important. What I think.
This recent decision, I'm going to disagree with you. This is the Supreme Court. It is a separate, equal branch to the government.
Sure. Hold on. Let me finish making my point, because that's not the end. So this is where we land, right? 462 days in, Trump net approval rating is -17, up 0.5 points since last week. 38% approval, 56% disapproval, 7% not sure, right? And that was as of the 27th. Donald Trump is he's close to the Mendoza line. Do you know what the Mendoza line is for presidential approval, Bretta?
I'm actually not familiar, no.
32%. 32% is the Mendoza line. Did I lose connection? Am I good?
Now you're good. I can hear you.
Okay, something just happened. 32% is the Mendoza line for presidents, right? And Trump is currently at 38%. If he hits 32% or below, especially if it's before the midterms, it's a bloodbath, right? And the issue is that they see Donald Trump trending in that direction. The Republican Party has saw Donald Trump trending in that direction and has seen all the special elections, saw all of the other things that have occurred, and they know the slim majority that they already held in the House. And that's why Donald Trump personally started this push for gerrymandering by reaching out to Texas and then calling on other states like Kansas, calling on other states like Indiana to actually do the same thing as far as gerrymandering, right? Because they know that they can't win. Even if you take a look at the SAVE Act, the reason why he's harping so hard on the SAVE Act is because they know they can't win. So all of this is connected, and all of it is to actually force the actual hand of the people to vote Republican when Republicans are overwhelmingly unpopular.
If you're overwhelmingly unpopular, gerrymandering won't help you.
That's a disingenuous statement. The entire point of gerrymandering is to actually fight against being overwhelmingly unpopular.
We're in speculation zone at this point. We're in speculation.
What's speculation?
We're speculating on how the constituents are going to vote. You're saying he's overwhelmingly unpopular. How is he going to win the midterms? How are people going to vote Congress in to keep supporting him if he's overwhelmed? 70% of the nation is saying at this point 62.
if you silence and suppress the votes of the people that are actively pushing and railing against them, and only highlight those voices that are in support, then you get that power back. That's exactly how. Like that's what we're talking about. How much do you know about the SAVE Act?
I don't agree with the SAVE Act. Not because I don't think it's a priority. I just think it's lower priority to the other things that I want codified.
Okay.
The SAVE Act it's not the most pertinent issue, illegals voting, but we do see it happening in instances across the nation. We got to mitigate that at all.
And be specific on what instances.
I got to look up the times that illegals were caught voting.
Illegal voting, not illegals. Come on, now, you know better than that.
Illegal voting. Yeah, my bad. Okay, I forget your platform. You got to be careful. I just be talking about.
Yeah, I mean, so I think it would be kind of pointless for us to go down the route as far as people who aren't United States citizens voting in federal elections, because I'm sure you already know about the Heritage Foundation study where they found, 30 something or less than that in like a 30-year span. I think that's honestly, I think that's a moot conversation. I don't find much value in that. But what I do find value in is the people that would be disenfranchised with the passing of the SAVE Act, i.e. 21 million Americans who don't have access, or not don't have access, who don't have passports. And if they have to go through the registration process again, then it eliminates them because they don't have that. And it also affects women who have changed their last name due to marriage, because there's no way for them to provide a birth certificate that aligns with their current last name. And so either one, they don't get to register to vote again, or two, they have to go through the process of changing their last name back to their maiden name and changing everything else. How is that okay? Give me 1 second. This person, Davis, is spamming in the chat. Davis, I'm muting you. Come up here and you defend the position as well. We can go 2-on-1. I'm tired of you. Good grief, man. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Sure. Come up here.
Davis is he's supporting me. I appreciate Davis.
That's fine. That's fine. No, I've already muted him. I'm sorry, but you know how I am. I don't do thumb thugs. And if he has that much to say, he has to come up here and catch this face. Stop rejecting the request, Davis. Like, he can stay. I'm not blocking him. But if he's going to keep yip-yapping in the chat, he's got to come up here and stand on business. Okay. He keeps rejecting it. Yeah. So he can hate from outside of the club. Anyway.
He's not a panelist. He doesn't do that.
I'm good with that. I don't care. I just don't do thumb thugs.
We all got different roles on the app. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Anyway, how are we good with that?
I could see that that's a unique situation. I gotta read I haven't read the SAVE Act in total.
I have. Not only have I read it in total, but I did a comprehensive breakdown because I'm a bit of a nerd, and I'll even share. Look, you know what? I'll do this.
Just that I'm in the middle of a lot of different fucking things to read, and
good.
Yeah.
These are my notes that I made on the SAVE Act. All right. And it talks about a couple of different things, right? How do I do this? Let me see. So these are my notes that I made on the SAVE Act, which breaks down the issues, which the section 1, the end of the check, this actually, the proof of documentation, that's a real big thing. The actual things that are listed as far as what's verified for proof of documentation, the effect on the different registration methods, i.e. they are definitely trying to attack the voter or mail-in voting, the backup processing without proof, like all of this is like major issues. But the biggest thing that I said, other provisions, federal database for they want to federalize that, potential issues, arguments highlight. elderly citizens that were born, the people are going to be disenfranchised. Elderly citizens that were born, people that are low income, indigenous people, women, and then naturalized citizens, and then people displaced by natural disasters, right? There's going to be so many Americans that are negatively impacted by the SAVE Act that this passing and being done is detrimental.
Where in the bill you interpreted that? All of these people automatically disadvantaged?
Yeah. So for the actual, it's different sections, right? The sections that I referenced was section 2F, section 2F2. That's part of it. Section F2, section 2F5, section 2FK and G, section 2J, and section I. So those are the most highlighted portions of the bill where a lot of the information comes from. I was just trying to show you some highlights. Like, if I'm not going through the entire thing, but you can go.
You show me your conclusion from the highlights. I got to read through those.
Yeah, no. I mean, you can. I mean, the majority of the issue comes in the section 2F, and it falls down section 2F. But I would recommend the entire thing, not just those sections. It's just the points that were pulled out. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is, understanding that this is going to disenfranchise voters, the Democratic Party has put up the same legislation, except removing the provisions as far as like the passport requirement and the birth certificate for the last name requirement, right? Even though we already have rules and laws in place to ensure that that anyone who's not an American citizen doesn't vote. And even though we have a track record showing that fraud is not a common occurrence, the Democratic Party is saying we'll accept the SAVE Act, but if we make these provisions that don't overwhelmingly impact millions of Americans, but the Republican Party saying no, we'll do this as is. They even said, like, okay, with the passport thing, sure, we'll even keep the passport thing, but let's put in a provision that would have the federal government cover the cost of passports so people can get it. And the Republican Party is still saying no. So if this SAVE Act was supposed to be such a high priority and such a beneficial thing, so much to the point where Donald Trump is saying, like, I'm not signing any other legislation until the SAVE Act is passed, then why wouldn't the Republican Party either, one, give people the means to gain access to the things that they're requiring within the legislation, or two, remove the pieces of the legislation that overwhelmingly disenfranchises people while still passing the premise of the legislation?
I wouldn't say it's a common occurrence to where a large population of disadvantaged, as you described, though there could be instances where that can be a pertinent issue, right? Nothing is total, but for you to say, like, this is like now you're making it seem like, and I'm not using the word fear mongering, but people can interpret this from your words that this is going to be a widespread issue across many Americans to try to dilute the vote and actually hurt people's ability to choose a leader.
Brother, do you have a passport?
I got a passport and global entry.
Okay, perfect. How many people do you know that don't have a passport and global entry?
Quite a few.
Okay. I know for a fact that, because same here, passport, global entry.
Some are felons that aren't even allowed to vote, though. I might add that caveat.
Felons can vote. That's not true.
Some felons that can't vote.
Yeah, it depends on the state, but felons can vote. Just saying that felons can't vote is absolutely a falsity. And if anyone's listening, sure. If anyone's listening, sure. If anyone's sure. If anyone's listening and they're a felon, just because you are a felon, that does not mean that you do not have the ability to vote. Depending on your state, you can actually reclaim your right to vote. Having a felony is not a complete disqualifier for gaining access to vote. That's what people would like for you to think, but that is not true. And yes, absolutely, as people are calling out in the comment section, the president of the United States of America is a felon. The president of the United States of America is a felon and has a passport. So there's that. Anyway, the point that I'm making is having a passport is something that a lot of Americans don't have and don't have the access to gain it, either from, to your point, being someone who has been through the prison system, or they just don't have the funds to be able to gain a passport. But then the bigger issue comes in for me as well is the fact that women who have overwhelmingly, not overwhelmingly, but historically throughout the United States, and this is a U.S. thing, right? To make sure people understand this, a lot of other countries, foreigners, people outside of our country, like when they get married, the wives don't take the last name of the husbands, but that's a uniquely American thing. And so now the wives who have made the decision to take the last name of the husbands and then have to go through the process of changing their last name, i.e. all of their actual licensing, Social Security, like banks, like all the stuff that they have to go through and change their last name and update it on everything. Well, the only way that they're going to be able to re-register to vote, because their last name on their passport, their license, all of that won't match up with their birth certificate, is to legally change their name and everything else back. And which that's absolutely insane.
If they don't have a U.S. passport.
No. In order to re-register, you have to have two forms of identification, which that can be your birth certificate and your passport. Hold on, let me make sure I have this right. Okay. You have to have your birth certificate along with real ID, a valid passport, a U.S. military ID, or if you're like a naturalized citizen, then a naturalized certification. So like you have to have the passport with one of those other things of identification, and they have to match. Like the birth certificate has to match your real ID, your passport, your military ID, a government issued ID, or your naturalization papers. That's the problem.
Yeah. I could see that being an issue for some people with the SAVE Act.
You mean married women?
That affects more than married women, but naturalization certificate, U.S. passport.
Yeah. I mean, but overwhelmingly married women, right? Because women have been the ones that have changed their names because of traditions within the United States. And now this is shifting and removing a large base of women who have made that decision, which is a push for people on the right. I'm not necessarily saying you, brother, but the right has been pushing for this one household vote thing again, where women don't get the access to vote and men cast the vote for the whole house.
Yeah. I'm not going to take a stance against that being an issue for some people across the nation. I don't want to be disingenuous just to seem like I'm winning a debate. But for you to say that women are limited because, or they may not, the name may not match the birth certificate. I mean, yeah.
And you cut out.
Is there? I gotta look. Is there any extra paperwork that a married woman can bring in to supplement verification for her identity?
No. No, I went down this rabbit hole with I forgot. I think her name is Christine or whatever. This is the reason why I end up doing this in complete deep dive, because she wanted to come up and like spam the trans people button, and I wouldn't let her do it, and I forced her into a conversation around the SAVE Act, and so we did a complete deep dive, and she kept trying to hide behind, well, they should have the marriage certificate, and I pulled up the bill, I pulled up the documentation, and the actual provisioning gives no option for the marriage license, because that's what people was, oh, no, I'm sorry. No, I end up talking to this old black guy, the blagger, one of your people, and he was the one saying, well, no, my wife has a marriage certificate and she can use the marriage certificate. And I'm like, it doesn't say this in here. And so that's what led me down this deep dive of the SAVE Act to break it all down and get all the information. And so like, that's why I know for a fact that it has to be the birth certificate with one of those other things. And like the thing that quote unquote could supplement it would be the marriage license, but that's not an option. Hey, Ari.
Hey, I just wanted to bring in also a very unique perspective that people don't commonly know about that's actively happening, especially if your family's from islands like Puerto Rico. So my grandparents were born and raised Puerto Rico. They had to move here because of colonization and the impoverishment the United States does onto my island. And what people don't recognize is because of the colonization that's happened on Puerto Rico, people have had to change their names. Yes, especially like people like my grandmother who had a very indigenous name because we are indigenous, we are Taino. She had an indigenous first name and due to colonial matters and Christianity, she was forced to change her name. Her mother was forced to change her name to a more Christian, quote unquote, name. Great. So her name from that does not match the name on her birth certificate because now the rest of her life she's been forced to maintain this Christian name. Remember though, Puerto Ricans are not allowed to vote for the president of the United States, also an issue. But my grandmother now lives on mainland United States. Further issue. She's also now a married woman since then. So now she's a double whammy. Her first name does not match her birth certificate, but now her last name does not match her birth certificate. Oh, wow. Thirdly, because of everything that's happened in Puerto Rico and the how long ago she's elderly, she's my grandmother, she was born, she cannot access her birth certificate. What about those situations for mainland Puerto Ricans who deserve a voice, like my grandmother?
Brother?
That's a very unique, nuanced situation that can be difficult for a person to navigate to get their voice heard in federal elections. I will say that. That's my stance on it. All right. I can't say, well. You get what I mean? I'm not going to say, well. You brought a very anecdotal, nuanced situation. And this is the one that I highlight can be a pertinent issue if the SAVE Act is passed, right? But a widespread, because I'm looking to see where in the SAVE Act, if in the SAVE Act it says no marriage certificate, maybe
yeah, it doesn't say
a divorce decree.
Wait,
hold on, maybe a divorce decree.
Hold on. It doesn't say no no marriage license. It just highlights the accepted documents, which the marriage license is not listed as an accepted document. So you're not going to see it say no marriage license. But if you look under the section, section 2A, the documentary proof, it'll tell you all of the actual items that are documentary proof, which a marriage certificate is not one.
Do you think people who have indigenous names and been forced to change it, they don't matter? And also, this is nothing new. She's been disenfranchised before the SAVE Act was proposed because she lives in Florida. And Florida, she's been struggling to have her voice heard because Florida has very strict voting laws. So she's already disenfranchised. It's already happening, right? This is just to make it worse.
Shit.
You said what?
I said shit.
Yeah.
I said shit.
Yeah.
I'm reading through the SAVE Act right now as best as I can.
Can you respond to Ari?
That was my response. Shit was my response.
Oh. That's all he had on that, Ari. Sorry. I thought he.
It's a very nuanced situation. I don't want to speak down.
That's not nuanced.
And I don't want to debate. I don't want to debate the reality.
Wait, brother. You know what I mean? Brother, that's not nuanced. That's highlighting an actual underlining issue, right? And while she did give a very specific, story as far as a real world example, it highlights the overall issue that actually people from Puerto Rico actually see. And so that's not nuance. That's not the actual exclusion. That's literally the rule. She's highlighting the rule where more people from Puerto Rico have that same experience versus like, oh, this is just one person.
Yeah, there's just millions of Puerto Ricans. Like, there are millions of Puerto Ricans on mainland United States. Actually, there are more Puerto Ricans on mainland United States because of colonization, and we've been forced to leave, than on Puerto Rico itself, right? And because of, and again, these are a lot of Puerto Ricans are also born on Puerto Rico who have to move, right? And we've had lots of hurricanes because of the lack of funding we get in our infrastructure, right? A lot of these records have been erased and are hard to find. So what do you say for people who, they never think about islands like Puerto Rico or other colonies of the United States? What do you say about them? Even people in Hawaii who experience a lot of hardship as well because of the natural disasters that happen in those areas, and they cannot access those documents. What about them?
In what about them?
What about Asian people who have been forced to colonize to American names? Because it's easier to
don't railroad the conversation.
I'm not railroading. I'm asking questions.
Exactly. Like you seem like you were kind of struggling with understanding her, and so
I'm
like
not
she wanted.
With understanding is that I can't disagree with these issues, and I'm as I'm giving them credence and I'm thinking about it, you're trying to like overload it without letting me actually think about it. All right. I'm not saying that these are not pertinent issues. And I've said this in other lives. I don't fully agree with this. I don't agree with the SAVE Act. I'm not going to say fully agree. I don't agree with the SAVE Act. I don't feel like it should have been prioritized over other things that I want codified by Congress. Right. So I'm kind of defending a stance that I never took just because ultimately my vote brought this on. You know what I mean?
But,
and I gotta take ownership of
wait, so that's not what we're doing though, brother. I mean, no one's saying that you support the SAVE Act and you have to defend the SAVE Act because you support the SAVE Act. This is all tied into the overarching point that we've been talking about, which the issue is what the Republican Party is doing with the gerrymandering and the shifting of the maps. It's a systematic approach to ensure that voices are suppressed and the Republican Party is reelected because they're widely unpopular. All of this is highlighted in Project 2025, right? The gerrymandering, like all the SAVE Act, all of these things were highlighted and factored in Project 2025. This is an approach that has happened, and they're implementing a plan that they've been working on. And that's to ensure that the minority of voices across the country continue to have power.
Yeah, I would say this is all like, yes, I don't have deliberate evidence of this, but as a person who works towards women's rights and the liberation of women, I am especially hyper-focused on these issues because we've already seen this actively happen. Like, we have evidence of this existing. The SAVE Act is nothing new. It's just taking components of things that already exist, like laws that exist in Florida that disenfranchise my grandmother, and laws that disenfranchise me here in the state of Texas, right? Texas removed thousands of voters from their voter rolls during the last election that we saw because of what? Last name changes. That overwhelmingly disenfranchised women, as well as because they're closing voting places, like in places like Houston, that creates a bottleneck, which also overwhelmingly disenfranchises pregnant people and people with disabilities. Right. And also people who have proximity to children. If I have to bring my toddler with me to vote, right, and the line has a bottleneck and my toddler elopes, guess who has to get out of line? Me, because now I have to chase my toddler. And once you get out of line in these spaces, you're not allowed to get back in line. Also, no one's allowed to help you. Right. There are laws in place where people are not allowed to give you a chair, food, snacks, or aid you.
So I was just about to bring that up, Ari.
Yeah. If my toddler elopes, that disenfranchises overwhelmingly women. If I'm a pregnant person, I'm in line and I have to use the bathroom and there's a bottleneck, guess who's screwed then? Me.
A pregnant person?
A pregnant person.
Don't piss me off. We're having a good conversation. Don't piss me off.
Brother. Absolutely not.
I respect your platform. Respect me. Don't say pregnant person.
Brother.
Do not minimize women like that.
Brother. Stop.
Okay? Don't come up here saying pregnant.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you. Ari saying pregnant person is absolutely accurate because that encompasses any and everyone that has the ability to give birth. And so saying pregnant person,
only women give birth, bro.
Don't. The one thing you don't want to take me on, the one thing you do not want to take me on is women's rights.
Right.
Dude, I'm not the one to.
Bretta, stop.
Don't start over me.
Bretta. Woman, man, gender, social construct. Yes, social construct. So saying person covers the social construct, understanding that gender is a social construct, while also highlighting sex. Don't be willfully obtuse.
Men cannot.
Bretta, stop.
Pregnant.
Bretta, you're now trying to go to something that you know we're not doing because you don't have any defense for the thing that we've been talking about. You want to shift towards trans people, and I refuse. I'm letting you know we're not having that conversation. I refuse. You do not get, for you to stop. I'm going to finish my sentence. For you to try to shift brother, stop. You're crashing. Stop. If you want to leave, just say you want to leave. Like, you don't have to crash out. Seriously. Like,
I'm not crashing out because I want to leave. You know I don't do that.
Okay, then like, what the fuck is happening? You're literally picking something that has nothing to do with what Ari just said. You don't want to address the thing that.
Can I make a comment towards this really quick?
Go ahead, Ari.
Yeah, you don't pearl clutch to me about caring about women's rights. You voted for a little rapist, okay?
Oh, you can say rapist.
Yeah, you voted for an actual fucking rapist. You voted for someone who said to grab someone by their fucking privates, a woman, right?
That's not what he said.
Don't act like you give a fuck about women. Not to me, because what are the rape statistics? Quickly.
Listen.
Quickly, no. Whatever. You care about women so much. What are the rape statistics?
Over muting me, man.
I'm not muting you.
I'm muting you because you're not answering the question. I'm
telling you to stop over muting me.
Bretta, like dead ass. We were talking about something specific. You tried to obfuscate to get away from the point that Ari made, and then Ari drilled home a specific point and wanted to know if you know something, and instead of actually saying this is the statistics, or I don't know the statistics, you want to talk about Trump this, Trump that, or whatever. No, yes, Donald Trump.
I don't know something, I say I don't know it. Stop doing that.
Donald Trump raped E. Jean Carroll.
So you ran from the SAVE Act because you know you don't know shit. You know it's a terrible act, and you know it disenfranchises women, and you don't give a fuck about women.
I never said that it was an amazing act. I told that to Santana at the top of the convo.
But you came up here pro clutching about
yes
women.
Or no, lady, relax. Yes or no, Santana?
Hey, no, Bretta. It's Ari, not lady. Stop that shit right now, Bretta.
Bro, I don't know this lady, bro.
Ari, hey, her name is Ari. Bretta, this is the last warning. I'm dead ass serious at this point, man. Like, cut the shit or either leave. I'm being so serious right now. I really, the reason why I thought it might have been you, but I didn't know it was you. The reason why I had you up here is because I'm tired of fucking crash outs every single day and people who can't hold a conversation. And if you're just going to revert to a fucking crash out, then I'm just going to keep moving because I don't feel like doing this today.
A great conversation.
Okay, then stop fucking crashing.
We respected each other.
Stop
she
fucking
started
crashing
on me because I requested something from a language.
I'm not doing this today. I fucking refuse. The reason why, I'll give an inside baseball to everyone watching. I have on my glasses today. I don't normally wear my glasses. The only time that I put on my glasses is when I have a headache or a migraine. And surprise, surprise, before I started the live, my left eye started to feel like it was collapsing in, like I was getting a migraine. And instead of just saying, I'm not going to go live, I said, let me grab my glasses, let me take some medicine, and let me try to get in here and have some sensible conversations or something. And I'm not doing this shit today. I'm not. I refuse. My head's already fucking with me. I refuse to deal with crash outs. No, absolutely not. Sorry about that, Ari.
No, you're good. You're good. I just find it ironic, and I'll say this and then I'll drop, that he's saying I'm requesting something about her language. You don't get to request shit about me in regards to women. You don't. You don't get to tone police the way I talk about women, women's rights, and how I talk about the bodily autonomy of people who have the capacity for pregnancy, right? Because it doesn't deal with you, right? You don't have a uterus. I do. Shut the actual fuck up. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for letting me up, Santana. I just wanted to provide that little nuance about Puerto Ricans.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ari. I appreciate you. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. If you are friendly, tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me. It's only one coin. It will boost the live, push us out to the FYP. If you would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links and link tree in bio. Santana speaks for you. Santana speaks for you. It's the best way to support the live. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. I have some thank yous, but I want to go ahead and get another debate going before we go through this whole thank you portion. So let's see if we can get someone else in here first, and then we'll go from there. 1.3 thousand people hanging out here on TikTok, guys. Please keep tapping the screen. Let's get the likes up to 300,000 likes. Hi, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with something in the background? Hi, the softest voice. Are you a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background? Okay, I'm gonna drop you down. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We are only looking for some debates. Only request up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. I don't think this person is gonna load. Hi, Dadbot. Would you come back to debate?
Actually, I wanted to continue our conversation that we had a couple days ago, specifically referencing what you said about racism and how that's only applicable to Caucasians being racist.
Never said Caucasians. It's white people. Caucasians is denigrating and degrading towards white people. You shouldn't use that term. Sure, we can talk about it. What do you want to talk about? I saw your video that you decided to tag me in and saying I didn't want to engage with your point. I mean, I absolutely engaged in your point. You gave me an example that had nothing to do with race, since the groups were the Mongolians. They were all the same race. You know what? Sorry. Let me just say thank yous, and then you can say whatever you want, and we'll talk about it. W's in the chat for Just Devin for the $5 donation, saying the caller was trying to mansplain to a woman that she's minimizing women. What a load of BS. Absolute load of BS. W's in the chat for Allison for the $5 donation, saying first donation. Holy shit. Thank you so much, Allison. That's fucking crazy. Your first donation. Thank you. Daily Watcher. I live in Auburn, Alabama. We're pushing and being loud as possible. But Tommy Tupperville, I saw his fucking comments. Super gross. Has so much money backing him. He's a resident of Florida, not Alabama. Please vote Democrats. Dr. Will Boyd for governor and speak up against gerrymandering. Absolutely. W's in the chat for Allison. W's in the chat for Ted for the $10 donation, saying thanks. Thank you, Ted. I appreciate you so much. W's in the chat for Ryan for the $10 donation, saying no need to read this off. Ryan, holy fuck. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ryan. Again, I don't think I deserve that, but holy fuck. Thank you. Thank you for the $10 donation. Thank you so much for the love. W's in chat for Tess for the $15 donation, saying, please tell this caller that even the person who wrote the bill, Chip Roy, spoke out about how difficult this process would be on married women after one of his staff members had to go to the DMV multiple times. Yeah, it's an unpopular bill. That's why it's not getting passed. Even the Republicans in power know that it's a tall task to get through. W's in the chat for Michelle. Michelle sent a $5 donation saying, love when you bring up Ari, love hearing from fellow Puerto Ricans. Tell her I said, Wepa? Ari, am I saying that right? Wepa? Ari, she said Wepa. I don't know if I'm saying that right. W-E-P-A, Wepa? Hopefully I know I'm butchering that. Wepa, Ari. W's in the chat. Thank you so much for that. Two more W's in the chat for Damien. Damien sent a $5 donation saying the SAVE Act will also disenfranchise trans people who haven't been able to change their name on their birth certificate, not the Bretta cares. Damien, if I would have read this off while Bretta was up here, he would have crashed the fuck out and we would have gave him something else to run to. But you're absolutely right. I didn't even think about that aspect. You're 100% right about that. 100% right about that. Thank you for calling that out. Thank you for pointing out that blind spot for me. W's in chat for Damon for that $5 donation. And last but not least, W's in chat for Natalie. Natalie sent a $2.58 donation saying from a fellow migraine sufferer, feel better soon. Thank you so much, Natalie. Yeah, like I don't get migraines a lot. But every once in a while they come on and like it always starts the same for me. It feels like one of my actual eye sockets are collapsing in and then it spreads across my entire head. And so, you know, I'm hoping I got ahead of it with taking my contacts out and wearing my glasses and taking some meds. And, you know, I don't know how long I'm going to be live because I don't want to like yell at people and I'm not trying to do the most. But if it starts to get bad, I'm just going to have to call it because I'm such a big baby. I can't do it. But thank you so much for the love. W's in chat for all the donos. If anyone else like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Pay links and links are in the bio. Santana Speaks for You. Santana Speaks for You is the best way to support the live. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. You said, Ari said caffeine. This is my second cup of coffee. This is my second cup of coffee. All right, Dad, by floor is yours. Take it wherever you want to go with it.
So basically, the reason why I said first and foremost, let me clarify Caucasian is because I've said the other word before here on TikTok, and for some reason, every time I use the color
white
specific,
people?
what I'm trying to say, I get banned or I get appealed, or I basically get strikes on my account. So that's why I use the word.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really annoying. Also, the other thing that's kind of somewhat frustrating is when debating with you, I literally had like 5 different people reach out to me that are followers of yours and or just send me some nasty messages. So it'd be nice if you didn't have that. Unfortunately, it seems to happen quite a bit during the debates. But there was a gentleman that reached out to me, and I would recommend giving him a follow on TikTok. He goes by the tag name Serious Poet, and what he said to me makes way more sense. And maybe this is what we're trying to relay to me as well. If you don't mind, can I read what he said to me?
I would really just like to get to your point. I mean, like I don't. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't really want to hear from other people.
This will land the plane. This will land the plane completely then, and this helped me better understand maybe where you're coming from because I want to understand where you're coming from. That's the whole point of having conversations that are supposed to be productive. But he said that racism is structural. The majority or otherwise most powerful group can be racist. Everyone else is prejudiced or bigoted. Only white people can be in America. Racist in America, excuse me. They said that white people can't be racist in, let's just say, for China, but they can be victims because they don't have the majority of power. So therefore, white people can be victims or racist in Africa.
That's literally not fucking true. That's not true.
So that's not true. So you don't agree with that sentiment?
No, I don't agree with that sentiment because if you take a look at the way that white supremacy has impacted the entire globe, even if you talk about places like in Asia, if you take a look at the overwhelming amount of representation for selling certain products, the models that they actually use to sell products are not Asian models. They highlight white people to sell products, white models to sell products. The entire assimilation as far as like business within Japan, they don't wear traditional Japan robing and stuff like that for business meeting. They wear suits, which is influenced by the Western world society and the premise of like white culture. They shifted away from more of the traditional garments to uphold the same garments. Even if you talk about like meetings, right? when you have these meetings, these international meetings, the actual language that's spoken by the Asian representation overwhelmingly is English, because again, acquiescing to the Western world and the leading English language, which was upheld by white people, white supremacy, and all this other stuff. So you see other races and other cultures acquiescing to whiteness and white supremacy. You talk about like in South Africa, you talk about Africa, the greatest example of that is in South Africa, where South African white people are such a small majority of the population, but then held the vast majority of power and land. And now that the people in South Africa are seeking to take back said power and land, there's this entire whole thing like, oh, white people are being genocide and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, when it's just a reclamation of the land that the colonizers took from them. So just trying to say that like, oh, only racism exists within the United States of America, that's not true. I mean, black people are black people everywhere, but bigger than that. The point is, when you take a look at the whole of the world and throughout the history, you can see how black and brown bodies aren't cared about on a global scale. Currently today aren't cared about in the global South, but you take a look at the people that overwhelmingly benefit from the black and brown bodies, they're white people. Greatest example, Elon Musk. Elon Musk is the richest man on earth off of the backs of black and brown people, whether it be the emerald mines that he inherited to get his fortune started off, or the brown people that he overwhelmingly exploited in order to come up with all of the Tesla, Starlink, Neuralink technology with the engineers and the H-1B1 visas. So like all of this is a fallacy and made you feel comfortable, so you're willing to accept it. I'm sorry, I don't know who this person is, but they're wrong.
Okay, so then you would not go off of the premise that it depends on the world as far as the populace is concerned.
No.
Okay. So then, what would you say then if someone threatens you because of the color of your skin? Would you say that's racist?
Race isn't the color of your skin. I would say people are stupid and they think that they're threatening me based off of my race, but they're threatening me off of their limited scope of knowledge. I mean, if they're just saying, oh, it's because you're black, sure. If they're saying, oh, it's just the color of your skin, sure, that's fine.
So then why can't you at least agree with the point that's saying, what Julius Malema is saying in South Africa, when he's saying unalive to the boar and unalive the farmer, that's specific to a race of people. How is that not, racist?
I don't even know what you're referring to. Okay, can you be specific?
Julius
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Julius Malema in South Africa is called to unalive South African farmers, and they call them the boars.
Who is that?
Their skin is white.
Who is that?
Julius Malema.
Yes, who is that?
Julius Malema is one of the party leaders, I forget the name of the party that he's in, but he's essentially started a movement that literally has created refugees in South Africa. They're coming here to America seeking asylum because they live in fear for the color of their skin, because they've been called to be unalived.
Oh, you're fucking wrong. All right, so the phrase, 1 second here. I was just checking, I didn't see it. There you are. The phrasing is a apartheid slogan, which means kill the system, not the people. Hi, Kobe. How are you?
Hi. I was hearing that, and I had to request. Dad bod, where did unalive the boar originate from?
I'm not sure specifically, but he's also saying, he's saying unalive farmer as well.
No, he didn't say unalive the farmer. He said unalive the boar. And unalive the boar, by the way, is a
I can give you citations and references.
I think you're delayed. Just wait until she stops. Your signal's going in and out, but wait for Athena to finish her point. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. So unalive the boar, by the way, was sung by activists, especially ones who were members of the ANC, during the apartheid regime, it basically meant like unalive the system. Because the system was run by those Dutch settlers. Boer refers to Afrikaner farmers, who are the descendants of Dutch settlers, who were running said apartheid system within South Africa. And up until today, by the way, those 7 or 8% of white South Africans still own over 77% of the agricultural farms because they didn't give up the lands that they stole. Right? So when he's saying unalive the Boer, he has every single right as a black South African man who is frustrated with the fact that the minority, white South African descendants of colonizers, still own a majority of the agricultural land.
All right, what's he saying? Can you hear that?
Wait, Dadbot, quick question.
Farmer and
Wait, hold on. Dadbot, do you speak the language?
He literally says K-I-L-L.
Dadbot, do you speak the language?
S-H-O-O-T. That's English. Of course I speak English.
I didn't hear that. Holy smokes. I think what you just played just got the fucking live restricted. Please just engage with Athena and don't play anything else. Guys, FYI, we just got a 10-minute restriction. So what I need everyone to do is power tap the screen. Let's go ahead and get the likes up to 350,000 likes. Also, if you haven't sent your daily heart me, go ahead and do so. It's only 1 coin. It will boost the live and push us out to the FYP. And please take care of Athena while she's up here. Please gift Athena. Please show Athena some love. Please actually send Athena. Please give Athena a follow. I'm going to read these off as well to try to push to kill a little bit of time between this 10 minutes so we can try to get past this. But W's in the chat for Jaden. Jaden sent a $25 donation saying, I got paid today. Here's my contribution. Thank you so much, Jaden. Your work is incredible. I appreciate the heck out of what you do. I work 8 to 15 hours a day. Holy shit, that's a lot. I'm 24 years old. You, Parker Dean, Matt, really helped get me through my day faster and educate me. Much love to you. Thank you so much for your kindness. I appreciate you. Debbie's in the chat for Mello for the $2 donation saying, little don't know because no job. Migraines suck. Absolutely. They really do. Debbie's in the chat. Thank you so much for that. And last but not least, Debbie's in the chat for Domo for the $2 super chat to say, Weepa. Debbie's in the chat. Thank you so much for that $2 super chat. And Debbie's in the chat for Courtney's, who resubscribed over on Twitch. That was in the chat. Guys, if anyone else like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks for You. Santana Speaks for You is the best way to support the live. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat. I will read that out. Like I said, we are pushing now through a 10-minute restriction, so make sure you are power tapping the screen so we can blast through this actual restriction. Look up at the top. If you see the word follow, that means you're not following me. Please hit that follow button. Turn on notifications so you know when we go live. It's pronounced Wepa. Sorry. Turn on notifications so you know when we go live. We go live every day. And Dadbot, I'm going to let you and Covey finish this very specific point, but I would really like to get back to the overall premise of the conversation, because I think that you sitting here saying, like, even when I thought the question is someone said that they wanted to, kill me because I'm black, is that racist? I think that's, again, I'm sorry. I think it's all lazy. I think that it's a lazy example to try to run to, like, oh, this is something that's, individually happening and it's something that everyone can engage in. I think that's just a lazy argument and lazy premise overall. And I mean, you can try to dismantle the whole of the argument, but I think trying to cherry pick and find these very specific things that we're like running down this entire dialogue about is time wasting. Anyway, I'll let you two finish.
Yeah, so Dadbot, do you think it's okay that white South Africans own 77% of the agricultural farmland in South Africa?
I couldn't answer because I don't know enough information about how they obtained that land in the first place.
They obtained it through. Do you know what apartheid South Africa was?
Yes, I do, but I don't know enough information as to the history of it all.
So, what was apartheid South Africa? What happened there? What was the gist of it?
I mean, they had colonizers come in essentially and take land, but I don't know the
No, not
extent of that.
necessarily only colonizers. I'm talking about the apartheid system that was implemented. Because if you're talking about South Africa and you're talking about an anti-apartheid slogan, I would hope that you would understand what led to this.
Well, I know the policies from the 1940s up until I think it was like the 1990s. I mean, it systematically or systemically divided people by race, and it did strip the black majority of basic rights. I understand
Yes.
the premise of it.
Yeah. So the Native Land Act that was passed in 1913 restricted Black South Africans to owning or leasing land in their own country. They were only allowed to lease about 7% of their own country, while as whites, who were 7% of the population, were controlling over 90 to 93% of the land. And then you had the Land Act of 1936 as well, and later apartheid laws that actively expanded these reserves and kept Black people, who were about 90% or over 80% of the population, to the most marginal in terms of water and infrastructure parts of the land, while the land that was in the best agricultural zones was kept in white hands. Now, this apartheid system that was implemented in like 1948, if I'm not mistaken, solidified, actively then pushed Black people who were, again, in their own land into Bantustans, where they were ruled over by white people. And up until today, 2026, the white people who make up 7% of the land, which they stole, by the way, through colonizing it, own still over 77% of the lands. Now, do you think, Dad Bod, can you go to, let's say, for example, I don't know, Japan? And you as a minority white person, do you think that you would be able to control over 80% of the land in Japan without the Japanese people saying, what the hell is this guy doing? Why is a foreigner coming into our country and controlling our land and fighting back against you?
No, of course not. But that's
Okay.
not the argument.
No, the argument is that's the point, though.
The point of my argument is I'm not saying what Julius Milano is saying is not justified at all. What I'm saying, Melina, is not justified. What I'm saying is, if we're going to hold a metric on what we think, what our perspective of racism is, then why is that not racist too? To
It's
have
not
a
racism.
prejudice or bigoted view of someone because of the color of their skin
Wait, hold
is
on.
racist.
Wait, prejudice? What is the definition of prejudice?
Paraphrasing, prejudice is essentially thinking that you're holding a negative opinion of someone based off of certain ideas that you think are pertaining to that person.
No. It's an unfair or preconceived opinion that is formed without sufficient knowledge or experience. Mm-hmm. What Malema is doing is formed with sufficient knowledge and experience, and actually still happens. Mm-hmm. So when he is saying unalive the system, which he has, by the way, actively said multiple times, he was sent to court in South Africa. He won the court deal because he has clearly explained, this is actually what he said. He said that in this context refers to symbolically to the apartheid system and land dispossession, not to an individual or ethnic group to be physically unalive. So when this guy, by the way, he won the court case in South Africa. So when this guy is saying unalive the system that has still continued to guarantee the minority white colonizers to own over 77% of the land, that is not prejudice. That's not a prejudice, by the way. That's in self-defense. It's not racism as well. It's in self-defense.
The definition of prejudice, though, if you actually look at the definition, it refers to saying that it's a mental attitude or a belief. And typically, prejudice often comes from ignorance, stereotypes, and media or social pressure. So you can't just sit here and say that prejudice is completely justified, because most of the times it's a belief system versus discrimination, which is totally different, because prejudice and discrimination are very, very different. Also, if you look at the actual Merriam-Webster's dictionary definition of racism, that means, and I'm paraphrasing, that you think your race is superior to another, and that would seem to be what Julius Malema is saying. That to me would be by definition racism.
Wait, what's ignorant about saying that a majority of the land is owned by white South Africans? It's a fact. Is that not a fact? In 2026, don't white South Africans own a majority of the agricultural land? How is that an ignorant thing to state?
White South Africans, yes. And again, like I said,
okay, cool. So
argument is not to debate whether or not justifying, it's justifiable that Julius is saying what he's saying. What I'm saying is going back to if we're going to go off of the core definition of what racism is based off of Merriam-Webster's dictionary, then he is by that definition. I just want
to say this. I just want to say this, Dad Bod. Like Dad Bod. Seriously, I just want to say this. This has fuck all to do with the background or the option that I give when it comes to Donald Trump. You coming back up to talk about something that we've already been through, to bring examples that don't actually fit while not doing the work to really understand race nor racism. You pivoted from actually looking up and trying to verify and learn about any of the stuff that we've already talked to try to find some other argument that somehow fits the point that you're trying to get across. And even in that point, it is lackluster and it does not fit. Like, I'm so serious when I say this. You want to debate something that has nothing to do with the topic at hand, which is the background or Trump, because you have gotten schooled on this entire point. And the only reason I'm still entertaining this is because I'm allowing Kobe to talk to you, but I'm letting you know I'm over this shit. I'm completely over with you saying black people. Like, you can engage with the background, you can engage with why you still support Trump today, but you running down an entire dialogue tree about something that you're trying to find to fit the narrative without doing your research of everything else prior, like, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm just being completely honest with letting you know I'm over this shit. And maybe it's just because I'm not feeling awesome right now, and so I have a shorter fuse and a shorter leash, but like, I'm over this shit. Sorry. Go ahead, Kobe.
Well, I'm not saying black people.
Your name's not Kobe. Your name's not Kobe. Your name's not Kobe.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question, Dad Bod? Do you know when racism and like racial categorizations, when they were created? By whom as well?
Historically, or you're saying just based off of
by whom? By whom were they created? Yes.
It was like the 1400s, if I remember correctly.
By who? By who?
Europeans.
Okay, for what purpose?
Because they were colonizing.
I ran through all this with him, Kobe, and that's what I was just talking about. Like, he didn't go back to actually research any of the shit that I've already talked to him about. So he doesn't even have a foundation, because he just moved on to something else to try to fit his narrative instead of even digging into the stuff that we've already talked about. Our definitions, descriptive or prescriptive
of racism.
Hey,
but you have a different perspective.
Dad bod. Our definition, descriptive or prescriptive?
It's apparently, according to you, it's based off of opinion.
No. Answer the question directly. Are definitions descriptive or prescriptive?
Are definitions descriptive or prescriptive?
Yes.
I mean, I guess if I had to answer that from a logical standpoint, I would say it's more so based off of descriptive.
Exactly.
Again,
definition of descriptive.
Based on the person.
How are definitions actually updated within like Merriam-Webster and like all this other stuff? Like, how are they determined?
Based on the times, I'm assuming.
Based off of how the word is being used at that time. So you coming here and telling me, well, I'm going off the definition of racism, one, speaks to it's only describing how the actual definition is being used at the time. Two, lacks actual substance. If you want to have a conversation about this, like, this is the point that I'm trying to make. If you don't have the substance behind your argument, then why are we even talking about this?
But that's what I'm trying to understand about you. What I'm trying to understand is, if we're going based off of the times everyone has based on culture, based on demographics.
No, that's what you're going off of because you're going off the definition. You're going off the definition. Yes, and I'm saying I don't care about the definition because it lacks substance.
Wait, but also Santana, can I just say the Merriam-Webster definition like was literally added by Rose McEgan in the 1930s to specifically just mean European fascism and then later on Nazism, right? So did racism exist and function as a system prior to the 1930s? Dad bod?
Of course, I mean.
Okay, so I don't know why you're making then. I don't know why you're making then the system of racism dependent on a definition that was added into the dictionary by Rose McEgan to refer to European Nazism. Instead, you would have to. Dad bod, what have you done other than like Google it? Have you actually looked into how racism functions, how it manifests itself, how it impacts people? How the system is built? Have you actually? Okay. What sources have you read?
I've literally looked into individual racism versus system.
No. What sources have you used? What sources have you used?
I mean, I usually go by like educational references, backgrounds, universities like Stanford, EDU, things like that.
Okay. What university sources have you used? Because the general consensus, by the way, within academia, is what Santana and I are saying. Like Harvard wrote a whole article about this called The Sociological Definition of Racism, in which they explain how racism functions and manifests itself, right? So again, what sources are you using to back up your opinions and feelings?
Most recently, newsstanford.edu. So Stanford's report from psychologists that identifying different factors of racism that contribute to American racism. But what I'm saying again, let me just finish the thing, and I'll shut up. Can you just let me finish real quick? The whole point of the argument is to say, I think it's disingenuous to generalize an entire demographic of people and say only that demographic of people can be racist. And that's what Santana said, and that's where I take issue because I don't believe that racism is exclusive to one specific race or skin color.
How can you uphold?
Because
how can you?
Time in China and the Uyghurs, they're European cultures.
Stop. You've already tried to fucking use that one time and they're Asian.
It is racist.
They're Asian. I don't give a fuck about you trying to use that same example that's already been shot. No, they're the same race, you donut.
Okay, fine. Hispanic.
Shut up. Hispanic isn't a race either. That's what the fuck I'm saying. You haven't done any type of fucking research. Like
the Uyghurs are an ethnic group. They're an ethnic group. They're not a race. Are you okay? What the Han Chinese people are doing to the Uyghurs is based on their ethnicity and not their race. You clearly have not done any research. Because also Stanford doesn't even agree with you. Why did you lie? Respectfully, again, you're bringing up ethnicities. Do you know what the difference between race and ethnicity is?
Yes, but they are conflated all the time. Race and ethnicity
no, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Santana, you're African American, right? Okay. So your ethnicity is African American. My ethnicity is Tigrinya and Eritrea. Are you telling me that Santana and I are not both black because we're different ethnicities? You think Santana and I? Okay, cool. So then clearly,
but based on the NIH standards, they're saying, but they're using a color specifically for a race when it comes to black people. Based off the NIH,
no,
that's
color.
Yes, they do. They say black.
Wait, no, hold on one second. Race. Do you think black is only color? Is that what you think?
That's what I keep telling him. Like he keeps going back to color when I keep telling him race is not just color.
I'm pretty sure there are Southern Italian people who are white, who are darker skinned than Zendaya. So if it's just purely about color, how come Zendaya is still categorized as a black woman, whereas those Southern Italian people who are much darker are still categorized as white? Or how come a Korean person whose skin color is very white isn't I've seen some Koreans who are whiter than white people. How come they're not categorized as white if it's just about skin color?
It's ethnicity. I understand that. That's
it's
not
not
the point. What I'm
ethnicity
saying,
at all. It's not ethnicity at all. I just told you.
but Koreans are Asian, just like Indians are Asian. I understand the differences in skin.
And they're different
pigmentation.
ethnicities,
That's
are they
the
not?
point. Yeah.
Okay, so then it's not about color. Then what is race?
But based off of NIH, when referencing black in general, that is they're literally conflating the color with the race when they say black.
No, they're not.
Okay, then what are they doing? Enlighten me.
The NIH defines Black or African American as a person having origins in any of the Black racial groups of Africa. So that's not even about their skin color. They're using origin.
They're literally using a color though, but they're saying
they're
black.
using
That's a color,
again. If race is purely about skin color, how come a Korean person isn't categorized as white, even though they're white?
And let me just, before you answer that, Dabot, before you answer that, I'm just letting you know, if you say race is skin color one more time, I'm going to permaban you, because at this point you're being willfully dishonest, because race is not skin color. It's based off of phenotypical characteristics. To Covey's point, there are people of different races that have darker and lighter skin while being a part of that race. And Black people specifically are known for not only having different hues of black or shades of black or whatever, but Black people literally have white skin, blue eyes, blonde hair. So stop saying race is skin color.
The reason why I said that or referenced that totally was because of what you brought up a couple days ago through NIH, because they are referencing a actual color. That is the whole point why I said that.
They're not. The NIH is not referencing a color. If race is just skin color, why did the definition of who counts as white change over time? Why were Irish people at some point in time not considered white, and Italians as well, if race is just skin color?
I mean, I agree with you. I agree with. I think that it's changing over time. But that's the one thing that does. But what I'm saying is that that's the one outlier that seems to be consistent, though. Like an Italian, for example, they're considered to be white, but when they first, back in the early 60s, they weren't considered to be white, right? So the times change, but the one
did their skin color change?
Has been. No, but what I'm saying is
so their skin color has been the same, but their race has actually changed. Why is it that their skin color has stayed the same, but their race has changed?
Because the culture's changed.
No, because race is a social construct and it's based off of socially acceptable phenotypical characteristics. So the phenotypical characteristics of Irish people. Culture. The phenotypical characteristics of Irish people and Italian people were then actually integrated into acceptance of white. Like
But what I'm trying to say, look, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, because you're right. I'm not saying that you're wrong. Okay. What I'm saying is the one variable that has stayed consistent, specific to color, though, has been black. That is literally the only thing that hasn't changed over time.
No,
it hasn't though. Okay, so hold on. So where in the world are Black people called white people?
Stop.
Okay, do you see this woman? What's her race? What's her race, Dadbod?
Oh, I was muted. Sorry. The individual that you're showing me right there, I don't know. I have no idea.
No, but I couldn't say. No, but why can't you say her race? Just say her race.
That could be Dominican. That could be somebody that's Hispanic. It could be somebody that's Indian.
Hispanic is not a race. Hispanic is not a race. Hispanic is not a race.
You keep saying that. You keep saying that. Like, you keep proving that you're not equipped for this conversation, but you are hell bent on having this conversation. Even though I've corrected you on that multiple times, you keep saying stuff that you haven't properly. Like, serious question. Why do you want to debate something that you haven't done the work to understand before debating it? Like, what's the purpose of that?
Well, I was trying to debate you based on what you said off of the generalization, because you literally put into a stereotype of white people saying that only white people are racist. And I disagree with that.
But wait, exactly, Colby. And while you may disagree, you haven't done the work to understand race and racism. The only thing that you did was go look up a definition and then take confirmation for some random DM. Like, come on. At the very least, at the very least, you could have went from the last time that we spoke and looked up any of the things that I actually said and then tried to make counterpoints from the stuff that I said, instead of just saying, well, he said all of this stuff. Let me just find some new stuff to say. Like, you're building off of a conversation that was already debunked. You're building off of a conversation that's rooted on rotten ground because you didn't have any facts or information to start with. And now you're just trying to counterpoint the points that I gave instead of actually having any type of foundation.
But also,
I think maybe the disconnect is between the thought process, though. Is
Cove, you said also what?
Yeah. So he refused to answer this question. So this is Tyla, by the way. She's a South African singer. In the West, Tyla would be categorized as Black. But in South Africa, because they have a different racial categorization, she would be categorized as colored and not Black. You see how that racial categorization could change depending on where the person is, Dad Bod? Because race is not based on skin color or genetics.
Yeah, so that would go based off of what I said as far as cultural. There are cultural differences, but what I think the biggest
it's not based on cultural. It's not based on cultural.
Okay, societal. How about societal? Is that better?
Yeah, it's a social construct, exactly. Yes.
Okay, so I think that's where I'm having a hard time. And look, I'm completely willing to admit that I'm very ignorant with a lot of this. I think where I'm trying to
why are you hell bent on debating it if you're ignorant?
Because I like having conversations with you, Santana. Because I think you're a good guy.
Yeah, but that's fine. Like you have an emotional connection to this argument because it makes you feel uncomfortable. But I'm willing to, like, literally people are saying like permaban you, and I'm only saying permaban because like you're being willfully obtuse. But I've literally told people I don't want to permaban you because overall I'm okay with debating you. But at this point, there's no substance in this debate, like none. And it's not because this isn't worth debating. It's because you haven't done the work to properly educate yourself and you're just going off feelings.
Well, I think also the biggest problem for me, and I'll be completely transparent about it, is that I think what I'm doing is I'm going based off of historically, as far as like anthropology, and you're actually looking at it from a logic more, and I'll admit you're looking at it more logically because from a social construct.
No, I'm going from a historical view as well. Like, that's why I gave you the premise as far as who created race, when they created race, why they created race, and how that has continued to been perpetuated throughout the history of society. So, like, that's why Athena brought
are there then.
There's 5 racial categories that are accepted right now. 5.
In the U.S., but
yes,
in other
the
countries,
U.S.
different races.
Yeah.
But
do you see how that's confusing?
It's confusing to you because you haven't done the research. Sorry, go ahead, Colby.
Did you actually read the Stanford report?
Nope, because I was reading that.
7 factors contributing. Yeah, I have it right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
The 7 factors contributing to American racism. What is the most insidious factor of racism that they explained from the 7? The researchers of Stanford.
The internalized racism.
No.
I'd have to go back to the Stanford, to the article.
Yeah. So I thought you read it. I thought that's why you mentioned it. Yeah. They say
I have read it, but I didn't obtain all of it.
Yeah. They say the apathy towards systems of racial advantage or denial that those systems even exist, which is literally what you're doing right now, by the way. You're denying that those systems exist, how they exist, and how they're operating. So you actually disagree with the source that you brought up yourself and you claim that you read. Because if you had actually read that source, you would have understood what racism was. Because they don't even agree with you. That source does not even claim that white people experience racism. On the contrary, that source claims that there is a hierarchy which emboldens people to think, feel, and behave in racist ways, and that idealizes white Americans while marginalizing and minimizing people of color. That's one of the factors of racism. Isn't that crazy that your own Stanford report disagrees with you?
Well, then I would be basing it off of my own understanding, which therefore would be lacking. And therefore, because of the ignorance coming from me, I need to better educate myself. I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong about something, guys. Like, I'm not here to be a jerk or anything. I'm just, I'm trying to have dialogue and conversation where we can actually, find commonality. And look, you educate me on something, that's awesome. Good. I need to do more research, clearly.
Well, and
I'm not going to deny that.
That's been the entire point, Dad. But like I said, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm unwilling to have this debate or whatever, but I'm saying if you're not going to actually like have the proper information and you're going off of like, yeah, never mind. All right. Athena, you have anything else for him?
Yeah. I just want to say, Dad, but I hope you understand that your need for comfort superseded your desire for equality. You were arguing that not necessarily because you want to dismantle the system of racism, not necessarily because you feel uncomfortable with the fact that people are actively being disenfranchised and being disadvantaged and being unalived physically, not feeling existential threat, but actually physically being unalived and exterminated. And you felt like your comfort was much more important than actually addressing the material conditions of those people who are being unalived, which is, by the way, a tenet of white supremacy. A tenet of white supremacy is white people feeling the need that their comfort and their feelings should be centered even in conversations about rectifying the wrongs that are being committed against Black and brown people.
I mean, I would disagree with that. That's not how I feel. I look at it from a perspective of, I personally think that racism by today's standards and metric is based on personal experience. And then if that's the case, then how in the world can we all sit here and have a conversation and say, yeah, it's just one standard. This is what it's applicable to, and this is who it's applicable to, because I think we all have different experiences.
And like
in theory, I think racism is something.
Are you a scholar? Or are you a scholar?
No.
Do you have any degrees? Do you have any degrees? Any type of certification, studies in any of these topics at all?
No, just
okay.
Just
clearly,
business.
as a person, who doesn't even know what the definition of race is, why do you think anybody should be listening to what you personally think when it's not your expertise? You haven't actually done the research, and you don't experience racism. So why should anybody actually listen to what you personally think?
I'm not asking for anybody to listen to what I personally think. I'm having a conversation with Santana about it, and then you jumped in and started. No.
You absolutely are.
I'm okay with that.
You absolutely are. And you're not having a conversation with me, because I have been very clear as stating, if it wasn't for Athena being up here talking to you about this, I would have either one, already kicked you, or two, we wouldn't be talking about this. So the only reason this conversation is going on is because she's allowing the conversation, not because you are getting to debate me on this, because I have been very, 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 very clear. You have not done the work. You are sitting here speaking from feelings. And that highlights the point that Athena made. Why should anyone listen to you if not only are you not a scholar, which a lot of us aren't, but you haven't even tried to actually do the work. The one source that you brought definitely disproves the thing that you're saying. And then your other source is a definition.
Well, I mean, again, I'm looking at it from a perspective of racism's not fixed. It is a learned, reinforced by institutions and shaped by social norms.
And you're making that determination based off of what?
Based off of historically, like
wait, no, hold on. No, don't give me an example.
Education.
No. Wait, listen. Give me your specific historical source that you reference to build your actual opinion.
I mean, I just said it. Like literally, laws and education have
no. Saying
fueled
laws
racism.
and education is not the specific source. You should be able to cite your specific source that you actually read,
Harvard
took in, studied.
EDU.
Harvard EDU is a site. What is the specific source that you have studied that helped you form your opinion?
Please don't bring up Harvard and embarrass yourself, because Harvard doesn't agree with you. Trust me. Please.
Based off of observation.
That's not a source.
I mean, what I'm saying is,
dad bod. Stop. So I'm gonna give you a very specific example. I'll even show you, right? So the here, I got you. 1 second here. All right. So I was having a conversation about the SAVE Act, right? And my opinion on the SAVE Act was based on the fact that, the SAVE Act is something that's going to disenfranchise millions of people and women and all this other stuff, right? So what I did to create my opinion was that I went to the original source, which is boom, this is the SAVE Act, right? This is the information around, this is the SAVE Act. I went to Congress.gov, pulled up the SAVE Act, and then I deep dived into the SAVE Act, right? Like this is the actual different parts of the SAVE Act. And so after going through a deep dive of the SAVE Act, what I actually did was boom, I made notes, right? My notes are based off of the different sections within the SAVE Act. It's based off of the different information that I was able to collect. And once I had not only looked at the SAVE Act in its entirety and jotted down the information and the contradictions and fleshed out my thoughts, then I created my opinion that I have been using to say the SAVE Act is something that will disenfranchise millions of people. It's not because I said, go to Congress.gov. It's because I found the source. I took the source. Did he fucking run?
He sure did.
Sorry.
Wait, why the hell are you apologizing?
I was about to. It must be a signal. I was apologizing to you, not him. I was about to apologize to you because, like, I didn't let you get a chance to finish.
No. What the hell? Don't apologize, Santana.
Dad, by the point that I'm just making is, like, in order to formulate an opinion, your opinion should be based off of facts, information, and things that you've studied. And just by saying Harvard.edu, that's not an actual source that you've taken time to consume. It's always important to consume the sources that you're trying to utilize, but even more so, you haven't actually done a deep dive and based your opinions off of these things. You created an opinion and then you tried to find something to validate your opinion. But the issue is the things that you've been finding, they don't validate your opinion.
Okay, so sorry, my connection was kind of in and out. I just, the way I look at it again, and sure, I don't have enough references to cite, and I'm only going off of observation. Therefore, it's only personal perspective. Therefore, it's null and void. Get it? Got it? Good. But what I'm saying is I do feel that racism, and this is a feeling, I'm just pointing that out, but I do feel that racism is something that is learned. It is not something that is, you're just born that way. Like, I just don't agree with that.
Okay. I accept that's your feeling, but the facts that we have contradict your feelings. So what do you think is more pertinent for the overall debate and the people who are consuming the information, the feelings that you have or the facts that we lay out contradicting your feelings?
I mean, I think it's based on perspective. I mean, everyone's got a different perspective. You used the doll test the other day, and like that's a dated test. Like if I was going to use the doll test,
the doll test has been updated. No. The doll test has been updated. They've done that again. They've recreated the test.
Yeah,
Okay,
no.
fine. Then why do
The doll test still gets conducted, by the way. Those biases still exist.
Mm-hmm.
You brought up East Asia before. In a country like Korea, for example, hagwons, which are private academies, still give preferential treatment to white people, even over Korean diaspora. And to the point where Koreans who were from the diaspora were starting to complain that these private academies were hiring white people more than they did them. Okay, and black people get disenfranchised there as well. Can you name me a single continent in which black people don't get disadvantaged for their blackness? A single continent.
I mean, right off the bat, I wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't know enough information.
Okay, so there is none. There is none. On every single continent, except for Antarctica, probably, black people get disadvantaged for being black. Can you name me a single continent where white people get disadvantaged for being specifically white?
I don't have enough information.
No, there is none.
I'll tell you
right now, there is none. So can you tell me what system, how are white people the victims of racism when in every single continent, including countries that are predominantly not white, white people are still advantaged for being white? Tell me. What you're arguing, by the way, because you feel, is like arguing that Elon Musk is the victim of classism, you know? Because a homeless person said, eat the rich once. Therefore, Elon Musk is now a victim of classism. And classism isn't something that only benefits the rich, but it benefits us all. Because everybody, you know, like, you're like the Oprah of racism. You do a racism, and you do a racism, and you do a racism. Everybody does a racism, because please do not hold white people accountable. I feel kind of guilty. And I really don't want to pay reparations. And I want to kind of like rid myself of that guilty consciousness. So please, let's just pretend as if everybody's equally racist and everybody is equally a victim of racism. That's what you're basically doing.
Well, no, I'm going off of biblical references too, though. Like historically, it's not just been, yes.
What biblical references? What Bible verse references race?
I mean, the Jews specifically. Well, they're not race.
What
but
happened
the Jews
to Jewish people?
They were persecuted. Jews by the Pharaoh.
They were never slaves, by the way. That's like a myth. There's actually a whole Harvard report on this. If you're going to try to say that Jewish people were enslaved to build the pyramids, actually the people who build the pyramids were skilled workers, and they found their grave sites and they found the places where they lived. There's a whole Harvard report on this in which those people were skilled workers who most likely were locals and not Jewish people, and they were fed beer and meat.
Hey, Dad.
So again,
I was referring Leviticus and Exodus, talking about Hebrews.
Jewish is not a race. Jewish is not a race. First of all, again, the fact that you're bringing up the Bible, the fact that you're bringing up the Bible just shows that you don't know what race is. You don't know what racism is. You're just sitting here trying to center your feelings to two black people, trying to say, please trust me, we're all equal on this.
Hey,
No,
Dad.
I'm not trying to get you to agree with me.
Wait, Dad.
Yeah.
What is this? Can you read the background from the what does that say?
Okay. They don't like me because I put facts over feelings?
Is that what you're doing right now?
No, I'm doing the opposite.
Okay, so are you contradicting yourself, and should you not yield since
I'm
you're
being a hypocrite?
Yep.
I'll admit it. I'm being very hypocritical right now.
So you should bow out at this moment, right?
I mean, I would say I don't know enough information to really have a long dialogue conversation with you about it, obviously, because I'm basing things off of feelings. Yes.
Okay, so you yield until you actually get facts.
Yeah, on this specific topic, absolutely. Yeah,
all right,
for sure.
Perfect. Thank you for coming up.
Please drink some water, Santana, and also maybe end the live short.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna do just that because I don't think that I'm equipped to be able to finish any more than what I've already done. So, and if it wasn't for you and Ari, we would have been finished way earlier. You two would literally have carried the live for maybe about an hour and a half. So,
Okay, well, I'm gonna drop something in the I hope you feel better.
Wait, anything before you go?
No, I just, as per usual, I have a lot of initiatives in the link tree in my bio. If you guys want to do some good things and donate, there's some initiatives in the link tree in my bio. I think I showed you the footage of the Eritrean refugees. Remember the initiative? I think I showed you them receiving the food. So again, $5, $1 might seem a little bit to you, but it's actually existential for a lot of people who don't have anything to eat, right? So I just wanted to say there are a lot of initiatives that help people in Congo, people in South Sudan, Eritrean refugees, and Haitian displaced people as well. So if you guys want to do like good things, please go to the link tree in my bio. But I appreciate you, Santana. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you more. Thank you. W's in the chat for Athena, guys. W's in chat for Athena. I'm gonna say thank you because there's a lot of thank yous that I have to catch up to, and we're gonna call it for now. We'll definitely be back later. I'm sorry. I'm not feeling awesome. It's kicking my ass, and I thought that taking some meds and putting on my glasses would help. But it hasn't, and so I'm going to turn off all these fucking lights and lie in the dark and hopefully be ready for later. Deb's in the chat for Rachel for the $5 super chat to say Dad Bod isn't going to listen to anything but anything anyone says. He wants to spread his hateful agenda. Yeah, and more so, like it was all about feelings. I think we hammered that point, and I think that's something that we can't miss. Like I have no issues with engaging with facts, but when it's all feelings, there's no point. W's in the chat for I think it's I'm just gonna call you Zai or Zai. I'm gonna call you Zai, who sent a $20 super chat to say these callers always have some soundbite or singular talking point that they want they'll put their whole self into to be dismantled within 1 to 2 facts. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It lacks substance. Deb's in the chat for Latrell for the $5 super chat to say this MF for bio says they don't like me here because I put facts over feelings. Boom. Debbie's in the chat for fruit Porsche. I'm assuming this is Fruit Punch Samurai. But it's in a $5 super chat to say elite screen share. Well done. Thank you. I appreciate it. Debbie's in the chat for Morgan for the $10 donation saying, I grew up with my grandfather who was the president of a large NAACP branch. You remind me a lot of him when he was younger. And you make us all proud. Morgan, thank you so much. I think that is the most kindest and generous compliment that I've ever received on this app ever. I know I don't know you or your grandpa, but I have such reverence for like elders, and I always think about like my grandparents and how much love and respect and admiration I have for my grandparents. And I think about my grandpa, specifically, who was such a huge factor in my life. And I think about everything that he stood for. And for me to say something like that, that would be a high bar for anyone to reach. And so for you to share any type of sentiments like that, thank you. Sincerely, thank you. Sorry, guys. W's in the chat for Avocado for the $2 donation saying, it always amazes me how people like Dad Bod want to be cordial and accepted, but do the most work to deny facts than research and understand them. Yeah, like it's confirmation bias. Like that's where it lies. W's in the chat for Marie for the $6.70. Dad Bod is going in the glass jar, and I will not be poking air into this one either. Also fart in it before sealing it. You might not want to do that because some men like that. That's a thing. It's a thing. W's in chat for Caroline for the $20 donation saying, please tell the guest to stop and tell him thanks for nothing. Now I'm getting a migraine too. Also, I hope you feel better. Thank you so much, Caroline, and not him passing out migraines. That's fucking wild. W's in chat for Mike for the $3 donation. Hello. I donate to the Church of Santana because I've learned a lot from the work you support and the causes you stand behind. Your teachings have helped me grow in so many ways that go beyond what I've gained from the simple reading of the Bible book. Followed by a $2 donation. I appreciate the way you encourage people and others to help. I think that's important. Like, I think helping each other is one of the most important things that we can do. And so, like, I just appreciate the hell out of the fact that any of you guys take on that approach here within our community. Debbie's in chat for Joe. I think this is Uncle Grandpa who sent a $20 donation saying, please kick Dad Bod. He's so intelligent and ignorant. Damn. Debbie's in the chat for J Hops for the $5 donation saying, champagne toast is not burnt bread. Debbie's in the chat for J Hop who said another 5 said, it's almost like words can have multiple meanings. Facts. Debbie's in chat for Gabriel for the $2 donation. Gabriel, stop it. Stop it. I mean this when I say this, guys. For the people like this, this isn't much. It's always more than I deserve because you guys don't have to do anything. You guys aren't obligated to me to support in any way. Not even like not only are you not obligated to send any of your money to help support the live, but you're not obligated to show up, tap the screen, do any of the things. And so like anything that you do is more than enough. It's more than enough. Thank you, Gabriel, for the $2 donation. And thank you. I'm going to try to rest up and I'm pretty sure I'll be back later. And fucking last but not least, holy shit, guys. Zazie, holy shit. Zazie sent a $50 donation. W's in the chat for Zazie. Zazie sent a $50 donation saying, I'm a silent viewer and I appreciate the fact that you talk about different topics as well as you show your sources. It also makes it much better for your platform and educating other creators. So more voices can be heard. Please never change. Zazie, thank you so much for the $50, the love, the support, the fact that you actually enjoy this. That means a lot to me. And I'm sorry, I'm going to disagree with you on the last point. I absolutely plan on changing and not changing because, things suck or whatever. But I think like not only is change inevitable, but change is necessary. And we should always be learning and growing and changing and trying to be better. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to change and be better at all times. That's why like I put such an emphasis on what I do here. It's funny, and I'll share this story really quickly and then we'll end. I was looking back at like one of my old videos that I posted, and to see the change as far as when I started doing this to where we are right now is insane. Like not only the love and support that I get from our community, but like looking at the quality, the cameras, the mic. I was listening to like one of my old videos and the mic was shitty. It was shitty. And the only reason that I've been able to improve not only the quality of the product that is being put out there, because I've always had the desire to try to put out the best quality product. But you guys showing up, supporting, tapping the screen, being here, and then, supporting the live, like I try to make sure I'm always a good steward of whatever you guys give me. And so like when you guys send donations, I like not only do I send that to mutual aid causes, I try to put that into expanding reach as far as connections with different people within the political system, but I also pump a lot into the equipment because I want you guys to have an enjoyable streaming experience. I like the lights, the mic, everything. I want to make sure that when you guys watch the live, the music, right, the theme music, when you guys watch the live, I wanted this to be something that not only that you guys get information from, but I wanted to be aesthetically pleasing and, for visuals, the sounds and everything. So We're going to keep trying to change, grow, be better, do better. And it's all because you guys afford me the platform to do any of this. So thank you all. 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 W's in the chat for all the donos. W's in the chat for all the love. W's in the chat for the community we have here. You guys are fucking awesome. All right. I'm going to wrap it up here. And like I said, we'll be back later. I'm going to just hop off and maybe go take a nap or something. And hopefully that'll help. But, you know, we'll be back later this evening for sure. 100%. No doubt we'll be back later this evening. Let's go ahead and go.
You stepped in the box, now you're in the ring. Ain't no hugs here, you better take your best swing. Mike Hot, who wanna step in the flame? This ain't a debate, this a mind game. Facts type lies, get left in chain. One wrong word, get slapped out your name. This ain't TikTok T, this a war zone talk. No script, no filter, no safe walk. Bring stats to get scrambled like a glitch. I got fire in my mouth like I came from the pit.
Hey, W's in the chat for the chat. W's in the chat for the chat. I know it was a short time, but it was still a good time overall. I apologize about the crash outs. I appreciate the hell out of you for protecting the live because, man, we received some flags. So I'm glad that you guys protected live and you kept us up and running. Thank you. I will be back later this evening and we will get active. We will. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all for the gifts, the taps, the likes, the shares. Thank you all for hanging out. Thank you all for being amazing. I love you all. And as always, peace.